When people hear the words Roman Empire, they usually imagine marble statues, powerful emperors, brave soldiers, and grand colosseums. School teaches us that Rome was disciplined, organized, and advanced beyond its time. But what school rarely tells you is that behind the glory, the Roman Empire was messy, brutal, strange, and deeply human. Rome wasn't just built by genius and order. It was built by fear, corruption, manipulation, and survival. Rome did not become powerful because it was morally superior. It became powerful because it mastered control. From the very beginning, Rome expanded by crushing its enemies completely. Cities that resisted were burned, populations were enslaved, and survivors were made examples of. Roman generals believed mercy was a weakness. If a rebellion happened, Rome didn't just punish the rebels, it punished entire regions so no one else would dare try again. Slavery was not a side system in Rome. It was the system. At its peak, almost 1/3 of Rome's population were slaves. Teachers, doctors, miners, cooks, gladiators, and even accountants were often enslaved people. Many were highly educated Greeks captured during wars. Rome's greatest thinkers often belonged to people who had no freedom at all. School rarely mentions that Roman luxury existed only because millions lived without rights, names, or hope. The famous Roman democracy also wasn't as fair as it sounds. Voting existed, but only for male citizens, and even then wealth mattered more than votes. Rich elites controlled elections through bribery, threats, and public entertainment. Politicians didn't win by promises, they won by throwing bigger games, giving free food, and humiliating their rivals. The phrase, bread and circuses, comes from this exact strategy. Keep people fed and distracted, and they won't ask questions. Roman emperors were not calm leaders sitting on golden thrones. Most of them lived in constant paranoia. Assassination was so common that being emperor was one of the most dangerous jobs in history. Bodyguards killed emperors. Wives poisoned husbands. Sons murdered fathers. Brothers eliminated brothers. Power in Rome rarely passed peacefully. Even good emperors slept lightly, knowing tomorrow could be their last day. The gladiator games were not just entertainment. They were political weapons. When people were angry, leaders organized bloodshed to release public frustration. Gladiators were not always warriors. Many were slaves, prisoners, or criminals forced to fight. Death was real, pain was real, and crowds cheered anyway. Children watched executions as entertainment. Violence became normal, even celebrated. Rome taught its people that life was cheap and power was everything. Rome also wasn't as clean or advanced as school books suggest. While aqueducts were impressive, cities were filthy. Human waste flowed through streets. Diseases spread quickly. Fires destroyed entire neighborhoods. The famous Roman baths were often breeding grounds for infection. Lead pipes poisoned drinking water, possibly contributing to mental decline among the elite. The empire that looked advanced from far away was deeply unhealthy up close. Religion in Rome was not about faith, it was about control. The gods were tools. If things went well, leaders claimed divine favor. If things went wrong, they blamed the people for angering the gods. When Christianity appeared, Rome didn't persecute Christians because of belief, but because Christians refused to worship the emperor. To Rome, refusing emperor worship was rebellion. Faith became political, and politics became deadly. Women in Rome had more freedom than in some ancient societies, but they were still controlled. Powerful women existed, but quietly, through influence, marriage, and manipulation. Many empresses shaped history behind the scenes, arranging assassinations, alliances, and successions. Yet their names were often erased or turned into villains by male historians. The Roman army wasn't loyal to Rome, it was loyal to money. Soldiers followed generals who paid better. This is how civil wars started again and again. Whoever controlled the army controlled the empire. Loyalty to the state was weaker than loyalty to survival. Rome slowly became a battlefield not against enemies, but against itself. School often teaches that Rome fell because of barbarian invasions. That's only half the truth. Rome collapsed from the inside long before outsiders entered. Corruption weakened institutions. The rich avoided taxes while the poor suffered. Inflation destroyed the economy. Political instability never stopped. The empire became too large to control, too divided to unite, and too corrupt to save itself. By the time Rome officially fell, many people didn't even notice. Life had already become harder, poorer, and more dangerous. The empire didn't collapse in one dramatic moment. It faded slowly, like a giant exhausted by its own weight. What school never taught you is that Rome wasn't a perfect civilization that suddenly failed. It was a warning that power without morality destroys itself. That entertainment can replace truth. That inequality rots societies from within. That no empire, no matter how strong, survives when it forgets the value of human life. Rome didn't fall because it was weak. Rome fell because it became everything it once fought against. And that lesson matters more today than ever before. If the Roman Empire taught the world how to conquer land, it also taught the world how to control minds. Rome understood something most civilizations learned too late. People don't rebel when they feel entertained, fearful, or divided. So Rome perfected all three. Fear came through law, entertainment through spectacle, and division through class. Roman law is often praised as the foundation of modern legal systems, but what school rarely explains is who the law was really for. Roman law protected property, power, and the elite far more than human life. Punishments depended on status. A citizen might receive a fine, while a slave committing the same crime could be tortured or executed. Justice wasn't blind. It knew exactly who you were and how much you were worth. Public executions were not hidden. They were staged. Criminals were burned, crucified, or torn apart by animals in front of cheering crowds. These weren't just punishments, they were lessons. Rome used suffering as a message. Obey, or this could be you. Over time, people stopped seeing cruelty as shocking. It became normal, necessary, even entertaining. The famous Roman roads weren't built to connect people. They were built to move armies faster. Every stone path across Europe existed so soldiers could arrive quickly, crush rebellion, and collect taxes. Infrastructure wasn't about comfort. It was about control. Rome didn't ask regions to join the empire. It absorbed them, renamed them, taxed them, and erased their identities. Cultural destruction was quiet but effective. Local languages slowly disappeared. Native traditions were replaced by Roman customs. Temples were rebuilt for Roman gods. Leaders who cooperated were rewarded. Those who resisted vanished. Rome didn't always destroy cultures with fire. Sometimes it drowned them slowly in Roman lifestyle. Education was also selective. Only elites were educated, and education itself reinforced obedience. History was written to glorify Rome. Defeated enemies were described as savages, even when they had advanced societies of their own. Rome taught its children that domination was destiny, that the world existed to be ruled. Behind the marble buildings, daily life for ordinary Romans was harsh. Most people lived in overcrowded apartment blocks that frequently collapsed or caught fire. Rent was high. Food was uncertain. Jobs were unstable. The rich lived in luxury villas while the poor survived day to day. Social mobility was rare. Freedom was promised, but inequality was permanent. The empire also ran on constant war. Peace was dangerous because soldiers without wars demanded pay, land, and power. So Rome kept expanding, even when expansion stopped making sense. Borders stretched thinner. Armies became overstretched. Enemies learned Roman tactics and turned them against Rome itself. Ironically, Rome's greatest strength became its weakness. The army grew so powerful that it began choosing emperors. Whoever the soldiers supported ruled, regardless of ability. Leadership became unstable. Short reigns became normal. Chaos became routine. And people stopped believing in the future of the empire. Rome tried to fix its problems with more control. More laws. More taxes. More executions. But control without trust never works. People hid wealth. Officials accepted bribes. Loyalty disappeared. Citizens no longer fought for Rome. They endured it. Even the famous Roman unity was an illusion. The empire was divided by class, region, religion, and power struggles. The idea of Rome meant different things to different people. To some, it was glory. To others, it was oppression. When invaders came, many regions didn't resist. Some even welcomed them. The fall of Rome wasn't dramatic for most citizens. There were no speeches announcing the end. No final battle everyone remembered. Life simply became quieter, poorer, smaller. Trade slowed. Cities emptied. Authority faded. Rome didn't collapse. It dissolved. What school never taught you is that Rome survived for centuries not because it was just, but because it was ruthless. And it died not because enemies were strong, but because its people no longer believed in it. Empires don't fall when walls break. They fall when trust breaks. Rome forgot that power must serve people, not consume them. And history has been repeating that mistake ever since.